Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our weekly mini. I'm Carolyn, your host, and we'll get rolling here. I'm Carolyn, your host, and welcome to Weekly Minis, your bite-sized workshop on the hottest acro topics. You can reference all of our previous weekly minis and more amazing content on our Acrobatic Arts channel on YouTube. If you have any questions while we're live, drop them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer those for you at the end of the presentation. If you know someone who would benefit from hearing about today's topic, be a friend and click the share button on this post right now and let them know we're here. Today, we are pleased to bring you Acrobatic Arts master teacher, principal, extraordinary person, Sandra Elliott. She has been with Acrobatic Arts since its inception. And let me clarify my introduction. She is an examiner, course conductor, and contributor to many acrobatic arts programs, including Module 1, the graduate program, the PIN program, the adjudicator certification for acro dance, and facilitates examiner training, just to name a few. She is also the Acrobatic Arts Company principal, and we're thrilled to have her here. Sandra, welcome.
Hi, Carolyn. Thank you.
Okay, so you've got a great topic for us today. It's timely because we're at the end of a season, but it's that time of year where studio owners and teachers, at least in North America, are gearing up and planning for their season ahead and what's going to keep them busy, active, and engaged with their students and opportunities therein. So I will pass things over to you and let you take over to talk about the Assistant Teachers Certification Program.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is a great time of year for studio owners and for teachers to be thinking about how they're going to organize their classes for the fall in North America and what that's going to look like and whether you're going to need an assistant for those classes. And we have this great program that we have launched recently, and we've got some new things coming up, and I'm here to talk to you about it today. So let's get started. So we're going to talk about the assistant teacher program in your studio. So the benefits of having a really great assistant is what I'm going to kind of hone in on in today's mini. And in no particular order, one of these things is that it makes your job more efficient. So assistants can be responsible for things like bringing your dancers, especially the really young ones, from the dressing room or the waiting room into the studio and getting them organized to get started into the class. They can also be responsible for taking those dancers out to the foyer or to the dressing room at the end of the class. When they're ready and you think that they're prepared enough, the younger dancers, once you've taught the younger assistants, I should say, once you've taught that sort of lead-in portion, that cardio portion of the class, whether that be the relay races or the routine or the stations, once they sort of get a handle on that, they can be responsible for getting that started and leading that part of the class. So once that routine is set, they can lead it, and that frees you up to take a moment. If you have any questions from a parent or another teacher at the door, maybe you need to grab a quick drink because you're in your 4th hour of teaching, and perhaps you need to take that moment to take attendance and get that sort of administrative part done in your classrooms. So allowing them to get that class started right on time so that you're not wasting any of those minutes within your class time, having the dancers sit and wait for you to be ready to get started. Another thing that it does is that it really does make your class more productive. So the assistant can do lots of things for you within that main portion of the class. Once you get to tumbling or limbering and balancing, that class assistant can obviously be a great demonstrator. So us, even myself at my age, I can't demonstrate those skills anymore. And yes, I've got my Acro Dance Resource Center that I can show the dancers what it looks like, but it's great to have a person live in your classroom that can demonstrate those skills and show exactly what you're trying to get at. They can also supervise other dancers at the stations. So if you've got stations set up, whether that's during the limbering portion or the tumbling portion, those class assistants can keep those stations moving so that you can be focused at, say, a spotting station, or you can take a moment to correct individual dancers, and you're content and you're trusting that your assistant can keep that class moving and those dancers engaged. So on that task of keeping those dancers on task, Your class assistant can do that as well. If you're going to be doing maybe some testing towards the end of the class and you've got your progress cards or your progress stars, and you want to take that time to be one-on-one with your dancers, your class assistant is that person that's going to keep all the other dancers on task and keep them working on the skills on their progress cards that they should be working on and not doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Okay, they can also be responsible for organizing your dancers into lanes or lines and be ready to count them in. So if you're working on, say, frog jumps or gallops or step hops, any of those kinds of skills that progress down a mat, your assistant can get those dancers organized at the end of the mat, and they can count them in every 8 counts or every 4 counts whenever the dancers are halfway down the mat or the lane, just to keep that safe distance and get them reorganized while you're focusing in on correcting the technique of those dancers. And they can also help to time skills. So there's lots of things in our strength category that need to be timed, and that class assistant can also time those skills, and again, freeing you up to make yourself more productive throughout your class. It can also lighten the load during extra activities. So those extra activities that I'm talking about are outside of your classroom time. So engage your class assistant, not just within that 45 minutes or the hour of the actual acro class, but also outside of that class when you're doing external activities. So things like picture days, recital, year-end shows, performances in your community, even competitions, and even exam days. So for exam days, that class assistant would be a great person if you're running some pin exams to be the person that goes into the exam room and runs the music while you're outside in the studio warming up your dancers for the next set of exams. But for all of these activities, dancers need to be organized, they need to be lined up, their makeup and their hair needs to be checked. That class assistant can go down the line, getting everybody's lipstick on in the correct shade, and being quiet backstage, being led to their adult after the activity is over, and making sure there's a safe transfer in those activities. And lastly, but definitely not least, it's a chance to give back. So being an impactful mentor does take work and planning, but it's also very rewarding. So you get to feel that pride and that accomplishment, not only that you've trained awesome dancers, but also great future acro dance teachers. And even if they don't pursue a career in teaching, the things that they will learn from you in this course and throughout their assisting career with you will be well used in any vocation that they pursue. So things like responsibility, accountability, punctuality, arriving early, leadership skills that they'll be able to take into any job that they pursue, kindness and respect to others, assisting others, giving back themselves, and being part of a team that works towards a common goal. So we have our assistant teacher certification program that we have been offering for the last few months, and it's going really, really well, and the feedback has been great. This course is comprised of your mentorship while the assistant assists a class that you are teaching. So if you're teaching a level 1 acro class once a week, 45 minutes, and that class assistant will assist you throughout their training time and maybe even throughout the entire season, depending on how you feel that class assistant is doing and their interest. There is also an online study that the assistant needs to go to and to complete, and it is comprised of different sections that include anatomy and safety in the classroom and leadership, and even some foundational spotting, a little bit on class planning. There's several little areas that they need to study and answer questions in a quiz, and it completes itself with a final exam that goes towards whether they become certified or not. And then there's also a workbook that they need to work through. And that workbook includes additional categories like acro history and a little bit more about anatomy, just lots of different categories that are covered that help to encompass a dance teacher assistant, even not including a few things about acro. So even a regular assistant that would like to assist a jazz class or a musical theater class, this program would be worthy for them to take as well, as the acro component is minimized, and it's more about how you're going to be teaching versus what you're going to be teaching. Okay. And then the course culminates with a practical evaluation by you, the mentor, and the assistant teaching of a portion or some portions of your class plan. So the program is geared towards dancers that are aged between 12 and 17. And we realize that's a big range of age and maturity, but you can tailor this program to the needs of your dancers and where they are in their development. So once registered, there's 3 months to finish off the course. So to complete those areas, to complete the online study, the workbook, and to give your assistant time to do that practical training culminating in that evaluation, that will be a 3-month period. Mentors must be Module 1 certified to register a dancer in the course. You can find this program on our website. It's under Programs for Dancers, and on the side panel, you'll see our little icon, the little logo at the bottom right of your screen right now. It'll lead you towards information on this program. And Carolyn's going to put the link into the chat of the page of the website that will lead you to that area. And then our newest portion of this assistant teacher program, which we're really excited about, is a mentorship workshop. So we are really excited that mentors will be able to take this workshop. It's just a 1.5 hour workshop. It just is once, and it's not a prolonged workshop, but it's going to give you the opportunity to get and receive additional support and ideas on how to be an amazing mentor and how to create a student assistant training class in your studio where you can train multiple class assistants at one time. It creates a leadership style class, and they can sign up and have a fun group learning environment. And this would be the workshop for you to get all of that great information. It's not a requirement to be a mentor to take this workshop. You don't need to take the workshop in order to become a mentor. However, it is great. It's great for your expanded knowledge. And it's also great for you to create a class for your dancers to sign up for at your studio within your studio class program offerings. So you can find this workshop under training courses. It's under training courses. And under online certification, you can click the register now button, and then you'll see more information on dates and times. And those dates and times I'll give to you now. We're gearing up for North America and UK, where their starting season is in September. So our mentor workshop is going to be August 18th. You can mark your calendars for that. It's going to go from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and that's Mountain Standard Time. So check out what time that would be in your time zone. And for our Australian and New Zealand friends, we just posted last night our time for you, and that is January 19th, 2023. It's going to be 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is my time zone. And then for you, it's going to be January 20th at 11 a.m. on AEDT, so Sydney time. And if you remember, teachers, from the M1 course, our recommendation for class ratio, teacher-student ratio, was 10:1. So any class larger than 10 dancers, it's vital to have a well-trained class assistant, and our programs can really assist in that training and that development so that your class can be as productive and as fun and as vibrant as possible. So Carolyn's also going to send a link into the chat for this mentor workshop. But as she's doing that, if you have any questions at all, I'm responsible for running and helping out any inquiries in this course, the mentor or the assistant teacher course. You can send me any questions you have at principal@acrobaticarts.com, and I'm happy to help you out. And as always, we always have our Facebook certified page, our regular certified page. We have our admin@acrobaticarts.com for any inquiries. We are here to support you in all of your training and whatever you need. So hopefully this piques your interest. You take a look at our website and have a little bit of a deeper look. And if you have any questions, contact me. Otherwise, I hope to see you there at the mentor workshops or within the assistant teacher certification course. And that's it. Fast and fun, Miss Carolyn.
Awesome job, Sandra. You're right. Fast and fun. I love how you spelled that all out for us in terms of the benefits to having an assistant in your studio in your class. And I think many of us who have been through dance or teaching there's always assistants. There's always a requirement for them. But what I love about this is a structure to put that into a format where, like, I would imagine a studio owner and a teacher are extremely busy people, but having an assistant is fundamental. So having a course that supplements their like, it's the return on investment. It just must be huge with this, in having the structure already created, that background knowledge, for the assistants to learn through the program, things that I would guess a teacher and a studio owner may not have time to really ever get to.
Exactly. So that's exactly why we created the program, was to help out those busy studio owners and teachers to just have something to follow along and to be able to, and sometimes, as a teacher, I know as I was a teacher, I often didn't want to bother with a class assistant because I felt like it was another job I had to do. But really taking that time to develop them properly, I found out was really helpful for me in the end. And it really did create a much better classroom environment for the dancers that were learning. So once I got over that little bit of a hurdle and embraced it, then it blossomed from there.
And I think that's true about anything. I mean, it is taking in business growth and development, it is taking that step back just a bit, maybe even to take those steps forward. And then sometimes those steps forward are huge increments just because you took the moment to learn something new or create a structure, a system within your organization that will help everybody move forward. I would assume, Sandra, in your experience too, in dance, and in your position, many of the dancers, a number of them, let's say, will move on into a career in teaching within possibly the studios that they grew up in as well.
That often happens. So the class assistant, especially those that are really, really keen and love that connection with young people, they will develop and continue to be at your studio, and they become the next generation of teachers even within your own studio. That's exactly right. And you often find that studios are then passed on to students that have been there since they were 4 years old, and then they've developed and they've done their dancing career, and now they're assistant teachers, and now they're teachers, and then they end up being the new studio owner. And that's how you end up with these dynasty studios that have been around for 50 plus years. And it's just, I get chills sort of thinking about it, because I'm from one of those studios where I started at 4, and I taught, I danced and twirled and assisted for many, many years under great teachers, and then took over some classes myself. My very first teaching class was a teen jazz class. We did Grease Lightning. But anyway, yeah. And then I eventually was teaching the whole ballet program there before I ended up moving out here to Alberta with my husband and family. So
Well,
yeah, it is really full circle.
yeah, and case in point, is to build that foundation of a strong assistant teacher program so that it fundamentally, filters into your studio and back again and pays itself forward, with lots and lots of, like I said, return on investment as time goes on. So I'm going to check if there's any questions in the comments, because I know I've asked you plenty. So I'll leave it at that. There are no further questions. I do have one more, and I think it's relevant to people who are watching. What if I'm a parent of a potential assistant teacher, or I'm a student who wants to become a student teacher, but we don't have, an M1 mentor in our studio?
That's a great question. So we've got a couple of options. I always encourage the parent to forward some information about acrobatic arts to their teacher. Maybe they want to become certified with us. But if that's not a situation that's happening in their studio, then they can contact us, myself or admin, and they will, on our website, be directed to an area where you can find a mentor. So within that program for dancers, you take a look at that page. There's a big video there for everybody to watch to see a little bit about what the online study is about. And then keep scrolling down, and it'll have a little icon saying find a mentor. And you can look up wherever you're living in the world, and you can see where there are certified teachers that have signed up to be mentors. And then you can choose one that's within your, hopefully close to your area. And then I will contact that mentor for the parent. And then if that mentor is interested in participating, then I will connect them with each other and they go forward from there.
Well, it sounds like you have thought of everything. And I know this is all just getting started. So, a great opportunity for our teacher community, great opportunity for our young dancers as they move into careers in dancing and beyond, because we all know that what they learn in the dance studio applies to everything else they do in life. And I know we take great pride in that at Acrobatic Arts. Thank you so much, Miss Sandra, for your time today and that excellent presentation. As Miss Sandra has noted, and as I've put in the comment section, there's direct links to our website. I've also put Miss Sandra's email address that she presented earlier in the or that she gave earlier in the presentation. You can check that there. Obviously on our website, you can find us. But those courses are ongoing. The assistant teacher course, the live online assistant teacher mentorship workshop, there's 2 upcoming dates. We hope that you can join us and be part of those. Thank you again so much, Miss Sandra. Thank you, teachers, for joining us for this weekly mini. Join us next week when we present how to spot side aerials. See you then, everyone. Thank you. Bye.